Hello, friends, and welcome back to Tutti Talks, the podcast where music and conversation come together. I'm your host, Aveline Schienke, and today I'm joined by my co-hosts, Kenny Walker and Maggie Fisher. We're excited to welcome our guest, Ryan Wallace, a bassist, music educator, and orchestra director at Kentwood Public Schools in Michigan. In addition to leading traditional ensembles, Ryan also directs the ABC Orchestra, which means anything but classical, a group that explores eclectic styles and encourages students to step outside the classical mold. In this episode, we talk about Ryan's journey from classical roots to contemporary genres, what eclectic style means in both his teaching and the ASTA community, and how educators can build genre-expanding programs of their own. He also shares insights on leading bands, touring, and helping students develop musical identities beyond the concert hall. For anyone exploring where their musical path could lead, this is a conversation worth hearing. Let's get started. So Ryan, I want to thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah, excited to be here.
Yeah, it's going to be an awesome conversation. I'm so excited for it. Really briefly, could you walk through your history with music, where you got your degrees, how you ended up in Kentwood, all of those things?
Oh, man. To quick sum it up, I guess I've always had two different music identities, which I've now been able to kind of fuse more into one. I had my academic music side, what I was doing in like band when I was younger. When I got to college, what I was doing in orchestra class, and then what I was doing on the side. And I can really kind of pinpoint it down to two moments, which are going to be a little bit important for later. First off, when I was 4 years old, I was raised Roman Catholic. We had all this awesome organ music, and everything was really beautiful at Mass. But there was a flute player who was really bad. And I hated listening to her when I was a little kid. So my mom said, you can't say anything about it until you can do better. Which apparently I asked my mom for piano lessons. So that started me off. On that journey there. After doing piano, guitar, stuff like that, I saw a band in middle school when I was in 6th grade. They were in 8th grade. I don't even know who they were, but they covered Blink-182's All the Small Things. And up until that moment in my life, I never realized you can just do that. Like you can just get a guitar, you can get an amp, you can get some friends together and you can play music. So those two paths kind of been going concurrently my whole life. So I'd like play shows in high school where like I'd be gone on a Thursday night playing a gig out in Lansing, come home, do marching band on Friday, do a marching band competition Saturday, do a band rehearsal on Sunday or do recording on Sunday. Those are the things that really helped kind of get me going in what I wanted to do. I actually originally went to school to be a lawyer, went to college to be a lawyer. And I had a weird thing going on in my life at that time when I was in school, like I was at MSU going for poli-sci, was getting on the debate team, everything like that. And I also had my own band, which when I was younger, a big goal was to tour. 1 month before that semester ended, or a couple weeks before the semester ended, I got an opportunity to go on my first tour, but it'd mean that I would miss the semester and I just didn't show up to classes. I was done. So I spent a number of years doing that, mostly full time, and then just working whatever jobs I could back here. After getting sick of living in a van and eating not a lot of food and being a little bit stinky, seeing a lot of the country, which was really cool, I decided to go back for music. And that's when I actually came back to Grand Valley State University. And it was a kind of a weird culture shock to go from, I've done all of these things musically. I've got literal like records recorded. I've got contracts in my name. And then I come here and in this classical world, like I'm good. I know how to practice. None of that meant anything to anyone. Wasn't important at all. And it's like, but this, like I made money at this. Like I have an identity forged in this here, and now I have to try to forge my own identity here. And that on top of being a little bit older really kind of put me in this weird constant spot where like my musical identities were fighting, which when I student taught, I actually got into working with Kentwood through the ABC program, which it was then directed by Eric Hudson, who started it. And it was modeled after the Saline Fiddlers. Saline is another city in Michigan that has a very heavy fiddle program. It's actually based on Barrage Strings, which is a professional string performing group based out of Canada, somewhere close to here, probably Toronto, something like that. So that was really the first time in my educational and professional, quote unquote, academic, I guess, music career, where I saw that I could start merging these identities together And I ended up student teaching with Eric Hudson. When my year was done there, the teacher at the middle school I'm at, mostly now, Crestwood, went on a year-long maternity leave, which was awesome because it was a 0.6. It wasn't a lot of money, but I could afford to do it at the time. It was an easy job to get into. She never came back. I doubled the program and then doubled the program and then almost doubled the program again to where my first year teaching, I had 12 kids in my viola, cello, and bass class total. 3 years after that, I had 22 cello players alone.
Wow.
And I think a lot of that just has to do with, understanding there's a lot of different perspectives in music and a lot of ways to have that idea of how do we start fusing all of this together so it's not just there's this one path and whatever you've done on the side doesn't matter, but it's, well, here's something we kind of have to do because we have to do it. And then here's all the other things we can start incorporating in. And then that's where I started forming ABC a lot less from a fiddle group to more of a kind of professional preparation group. So we learn how to arrange things, like we do a lot of arrangements by ear. Students can present any arrangements. We work on it as a group. We're working more and more on getting out. So last year we had 19 or 20 separate performances, that's a lot when you consider we don't really have that many weeks of school. It was almost like one performance every 2 weeks is what it kind of broke down to. And then a lot of those performances were also not necessarily school sponsored, but they were in the community, which is where it kind of all starts tying back together of my life doing all this DIY music and going out and writing and recording and figuring out that side of the business. And then this academic life and being able to merge them together into what 4-year-old and 13 or 11-year-old me would be super excited about of, while I can probably do it better than a lot of people, we're also understanding that we're going to make music our own. And that's a lot of what ABC's goal is. So that's kind of a quick, compressed, not super quick, but a little bit compressed version of that.
Yeah, awesome. That sounds like a great program. You mentioned how you grew up playing classical music and all of those types of things. At what point did you decide to go the more non-classical route?
I think the better question is, when did I decide that I'd be okay playing more classical?
Mm.
The things that made me really fall in love with music when I was younger is early like Baroque music. When I heard that in church, like the organ was awesome. Early Bach was great. I was a huge nerd, so I played a lot of video games. And some of the 8-bit music that came from those games, like Castlevania 1, Castlevania 2 was just awesome. Like Battletoads, great soundtrack. A lot of the RPGs, Earthbound, that was great. So a lot of like those things got me into music. And I was kind of just told my whole life that you have to do classical if you want to be good, which, I mean, like there's something to it, but I think there's a lot more to be said about finding music that you're interested in, learning the things you want to be good at versus you have to be good at this set of repertoire as opposed to obtaining these set of skills. But that's like, it kind of was just like realizing that I'm going to learn something from any music, but it was more of a conscious choice to do, well, I have to do this if I want to professionally succeed, is I have to do more of this classical stuff, and I'm good at it. I know how to practice, and practice to me is practice. So it was, I have to do this if I want to succeed academically. It's not necessarily what I'm interested in, but it definitely informed what I was doing on the side.
Yeah.
So you obviously have a long background with non-classical music.
Yeah.
And currently you're a pretty big member of the Eclectic Styles community.
Yeah.
So what originally got you into those eclectic styles?
Yet again, it just goes back to that like DIY, seeing a lot of musicians back in the early 2000s, early 2010, stuff like that. When you were going out, it was a bunch of people doing whatever they wanted to do and doing it so big because the internet wasn't as prevalent. We didn't have as many social media aspects with it, that you had to do it big enough to establish a name. So just seeing a lot of people who were going out and making music their own, which is what a lot of Eclectic Styles is to me, is not necessarily like, oh, we're going to fit into this box of Eclectic Styles now, but it's, what do you want to do with music? What is successful to you? Because a lot of times we're told, especially in like this academic setting, what success is. And it's like, but what if I don't want that? In my master's program, a lot of it focused on, why is it bad to be an amateur? Like, why can't we just do something for fun? And we have this weird, like, hyperfixation on perfection and commoditization of our art, our playing, where it's like you didn't have that in the early 2000s nearly as much because you didn't have to quote unquote make it, or you could see these things of like, I want to do this because I want to do it. It's fulfilling, it's enriching. I'm going to pursue this, and then maybe someone will like it versus, well, I'm going to do it good enough to get on Instagram. So a lot of it just comes from that idea of I just wanted to do what we wanted to do. And in the Eclectic Styles committee, we have a lot of people who go, yeah, that's cool. Like it's some of them are really good old style players or really good fiddle players. And like, I'm not that, but I really enjoy being around those people and playing with them and being the worst person in the room on that instrument and in that style. Because that's so cool, because these people are doing it because they want to. And they want to spread that love of that. And I feel like there's so much of that missing in academic music right now, is like, we're told we have to like these things. We have to do these things because we have to do it. And it's like, but do we? Do we really? And some people like genuinely like it. I don't. It's like Mozart's cool. I like him. I won't go put him on voluntarily. If I'm learning him, I'll do it. If I'm getting paid to do it, I will. Which I know is kind of contrary to the point I said earlier, but also like we do have to make money doing it. Like, I've chosen to do this professionally as opposed to just as a hobby.
Right. You got to pay rent.
Food costs money, unfortunately. So yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
So given all of your classical background that you've had growing up, how would you introduce improv or non-classical styles to classically trained students?
The younger you can get them, the better. Alice K. Knack actually has a bunch of really good stuff that I use in my master's project, and I use a lot of her ideas, and I've gotten to talk to her at a conference. She's really cool. A lot of it is you have to understand that music, I'm very against calling it a language itself, because there's a lot of other things that go with that it just doesn't do. But we learn it similar to a language, where you don't sit down with someone who's never improvised before and go, cool, here's a 2-5-1 in F, go. Because they're going to go, I have no idea what that means. So you start off by doing, let's not look at a piece of music. Let's play a little game. Can you mimic what I do exactly? And then, I go, dun, 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 and you go, dun, 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 and I go, dun, 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 and you go, dun, 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 dun. Oh, shoot, that was wrong. And I go, no, let's go with that. Like, let's start chasing that idea and developing and get that confidence build up and do enough of that so where they understand that improvisation is not a science, it's an art. We're having fun. We're exploring a bunch of different ideas. Some of your ideas are just going to sound bad. And that's like, nobody cares. Like, it's not a big deal. And I always tell my kids, you're going to play wrong notes. You're going to sound bad all the time. Let's fail forward. And start building that confidence in your ability to realize what sounds good and what sounds bad. And you probably know how to play it. You're just so freaked out by this idea of, well, I have to do it now. I have to understand that I'm expressing something of myself as opposed to something that's already preordained that I can look at and go, yep, I know exactly how to play that. Maybe I need to know how to do an interpretation or an ornament on it. It's just like, what if you play a little bit flat? Oh no. What if I want to hit a major 6 and I hit a minor 6 instead? Yo, that's sick. Let's slide up.
What if you hold a C sharp for 16 measures?
Yeah, what if we hold a C? So Kent Wood played at the Michigan Music Conference, and I play games. I think improvisation is really done through games because it's just fun then. It's low stress. Like, if you play a wrong note, nobody dies. Like, we're not surgeons, A doctor goes to work and does a little oopsie, and then someone has a cloth sewn in them because they forgot to take it out. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but we play a wrong note and someone goes, oh, okay. Like, that's not that big of a deal. So getting people to realize that. But I had a student that I hired back now for multiple things, that she was really good and had a good ear, and I kept messing around with her and had her play like games. And then I started, like, some of the games we were playing were, I'm going to intentionally have you start on a note that sounds bad. Figure it out. How are you going to resolve it? What are you going to do with it? And then as we're about to go on stage and she's about to improvise in front of all of the educators in Michigan that are attending that, which was quite a few, and all of them classically trained, she goes, what should I do? And it was Mercy, Mercy, Mercy in the key of D. And I said, you start out on a C sharp. Joking. And she did it.
Wow.
She did it and just did it and just held it. just held it, but like on purpose, knowing like it sounds bad and I'm going to play it long enough until it sounds good. And I mean, she pulled it off. It was great. It was like really good solo, but like I was just kind of joking. I'm like, yeah, just play the note that sounds awful. Like you would not play this note in a solo on that. And she just did it and it was great. You know, a lot of it's just like, let's just have fun. Let's play some games. And I mean, like all the other educators started like doubting themselves. Like, wait, is that a good note to play? Should I be telling my kids to do that? Which is another thing I tell them, like, you play a wrong note, like play it again louder and gaslight everyone into thinking they're wrong. You know, make a face like, ooh, like that. Ooh, yeah, that was good. You know, like kind of like I tell my middle schoolers, it's a who farted face, but like as a musician, you scrunch your face up. If for those of you who aren't seeing the physical media, just play it louder and play it again, you know, and then just figure out, you can slide down down a half step, up a half step. It'll sound good. You're always a half step away from a good note. So I would just play some games, have some fun. Worst comes worst, it sounds bad. Nobody dies.
So within the just broad music world, and that brief mention that you had just about like, we're about to go in front of like half the teachers in West Michigan, what challenges or difficulties does Eclectic Styles face, whether that's people or traditions or policies or procedures or just anything that kind of combats Eclectic Styles' ability to flourish?
A lot of it is just the overall attitude towards anything but classical. Not the ABC group, but like the idea that if it's not like if it's pop music, it's bad, it's inferior. Or if it's hip hop music, it's inferior. And it's realizing that like, nope, that's wrong. That's dumb. You know, maybe it's not as hard, but it's like, listen, I listen to some genres that are like polyrhythms on polyrhythms with music theory that you wouldn't understand. And you won't like it because it's not classical. And then at that point, it's not as complex. It's like you just don't understand it and you just like classical. Or you have some sort of weird hang up that like this is the ultimate of all music. Which I think like the academic community does a really terrible job of allowing other musics to flourish. But I think there's a lot of younger teachers who are realizing like, number one, orchestra numbers are declining overall. There's not a lot of jobs open to that. And if we say that we want quote unquote lifelong music learners and players, what does that actually look like? Are we preparing people to be classical music cover artists for the rest of their lives, hopefully playing in some sort of semi-professional symphony once every 3 to 4 months? Or are we actually giving them the tools to make music, sit down and play music with your friends, you know? And you're fiddlers and you've kind of grown to probably love that. Like I can just sit down and play Old Joe Clark with someone and everyone of different ability levels can come in and just have a good time. The issue a lot of the times is not allowing music to be fun and not allowing people to be an amateur because we need to hyper focus on being good, you know, being good or being right. That and there's just not a lot of community yet, which is one of my big goals, is just building a community of people who are going like, whoa, that's cool. Yeah, let's do that. How do I do that? Because I don't want anyone to do it like me. Like, number one, you won't do it better than me just because you won't have the same ideas as me, which is awesome. Like, I love that because I want to go to your classrooms and look and go, oh, I'm going to steal that. That's awesome. Like, please, anything that I do, steal. But also, that's what the community does is go, oh, I love that. Like in the Eclectic Styles committee, there's so many things where like we get in those meetings and we just get rolling all of a sudden. It's like, oh, it's 9:30. We should have ended an hour and a half ago. But it's like, you know, we're having a good time and realizing like this is why we do music, you know? If you've ever been to any of the American String Teachers Association jams, especially last year, is all in one self-contained hotel. It was mostly us. And there's like fiddle jams that just broke out all the time. Like in the lobby, it was awesome. It was sick. So...
Yeah, I definitely agree with it being an attitude thing because it all comes down to the person and everyone's going to have their preference, but it's wrong to bog down any part of music, I think. And I remember when ABC was here at GV and you guys were playing, somebody was asking like, what is this group? What do they do? And I explained it and they were like, how is that fun? And I was just like, are you kidding? And he was like, well, classical music is like such a foundation. And it's like, yeah, it is. But why is that the only thing that's fun? Why is that everything? I wanted to kind of segue off of the last thing you said, but I just wanted to put that out there. I know you've kind of answered this throughout the podcast, but what are the current goals of the Eclectic Styles ASTA committee? And what goals are you allowed to say that you guys are currently working on?
To get
Probably
more
the better
funding.
question.
To get funding for us. What we're really trying to do is get more people. Right now, we're trying to invite as many people in as we can. And we're kind of doing that by, number one, we try to make all of our sessions really just overall fun. Like you went there, you had a good time. So we host like mini jam sessions, which we have ideas about. They're geared towards, I've never improvised. I don't know anything about the style. I'm a musician who wants to learn. How do I do that? And we last year I came up with the idea. Let's have a jam session that doesn't start at 9:00 at night. Just because as someone who's new to improvising, the people that are going to show up to that 9:00 one are going to be the who's who. It's going to be all of the best players, and none of us care if you're bad. But that's a weird vibe when you look to the person to the right and they're killing it, and it comes to you and you play like a bad version of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and they're stoked. But they also went through like 9 different, implied chord changes over a D major, and you're like, wow, I have no idea what's going on. So we try to create an environment where anyone can come in and experience success and have fun. And even if like we're good improvisers, none of us are going to do anything like shreddy in those environments, because we want you to kind of steal ideas that are easily achievable from us. Some of the other things that we're doing, and we started it last year and it was awesome, is the what I jokingly call the no dumb questions session. So we got to have people come in and see, like we had stations of, here's an electric violin, just play it. And I believe we had violins from like the electric violin shop. He just came and just donated some instruments and was hanging out. And he's like, he's not trying to push a sale, but he's just like, just try it, like have fun. We had a spot where people could just learn, like, what are all the different, like, what's an XLR cable? What's a 1/4 inch cable? What's a balanced, 1/4 inch cable? What's a 3.5 millimeter? What are all these things that like seem like you feel like that's dumb to ask, but like, especially like, you're starting a podcast, you're like, wait, what are all these cables? What do I actually need? What is a DAW? So my station was, here is GarageBand and here's Reaper and here's Audacity. 3 versions that are all free. You can record with it. I'm going to walk you through how to get it started. Here's the equipment you need. That's all very budget friendly. We had the effects station, which I know Maggie came in and spent a ton of time at. Just, it's like, oh, wow, this looper pedal is really cool.
That's really cool.
All these different sounds are really cool. And it's built for people who don't know those things. And yet again, it can be a really vibey situation when you're going in, to like an electric violin shop booth at a conference, or a music store like a Guitar Center or Firehouse Music Shop local, and they have all these pedals and you can try it, but there's some guy next to you who's playing Smoke on the Water, and then the guy next to him is shredding riffs that are incomprehensibly awesome, and you're there with your violin going, I don't know what pickup I need, like I don't know how to ask the questions. So we have the like sessions like that for like, I have really dumb questions and I don't even know what my question is, but I know I want to ask it of someone. So we provide those resources to them. And then we're doing a lot of advocacy with college boards to help change audition processes around a little bit, or reconsider what the audition process is. So instead of saying like a rep based, we need to hear this concerto, we need to hear this concerto and this concerto. It's, the string crossings and overall playing that you get in Bach are essentially the same as Irish fiddling. Like the actual technical prowess of them is very similar. The only difference is Bach will go through more keys, and it's sure, like we need proficiency in those keys if you're going to play stuff like that. But it's, we are starting to beg the question of what are the actual skills you want versus what is the repertoire you want? Like, do you want skills or do you want repertoire? Because if we're doing repertoire, we're eliminating a huge portion of the community.
I wanted to pop in another question here, and I know you love to answer this question.
I do.
I've noticed out of like my 3 days at the ASTA conference, I noticed that there was a ton of controversy around the term eclectic styles. What does it mean to you?
Oh man.
As a term, like what's your textbook definition, if there is one?
So I am very much so falling on the camp of eclectic should be anything that is kind of genuinely not taught in the traditional classroom. So we'll put a big blanket on it, but I'm going to throw this big caveat on it. Folk music and fiddle music is not eclectic music to me. Only because that's like the white bread of eclectic music is like, oh, I have a program that doesn't play classical. We play fiddle music. And it's like, oh, cool. You've yet again just dove into a tradition that has become somewhat watered down in the way that we perform it. To me, a lot of it is the Eclectic Styles Committee. It's not, and our goal is not necessarily like a style of music, but it's the idea of community around the music and building that sense of tradition and sharing that sense of tradition and really allowing people to come and flourish in that. I'm not saying like fiddle music's bad. Like it is eclectic, but it's kind of like it's the bread. It's the white bread.
Right.
It's the boring stuff. And I know like a lot of people are like, because it used to be the alternative styles committee and everyone's like, we're not alternative, we're all eclectic. And it's like, well, okay, like we're just going to define ourselves in terms of the opposition, I guess, quote unquote opposition, the op. The op is classical music. We're going to define ourselves in terms of the op, and that's like the only way we're going to do it, which I kind of hate. Like I understand that. Like we need to be a little bit counterculture and like edgy and punk rock or whatever. My definition is really just anything that isn't normally taught, or I guess like anything that would get you into music school we don't want to do.
Given that you teach a lot of these new genres and more eclectic styles in these programs, how do you measure growth for your students or the impact that they have with them?
So I think like measuring the idea of growth or impact is really just going to be on how much has doing something different really got the student excited to do it. You know, is playing this music getting them excited to play more music? And like I guess I'm going to throw this back at both of you. Going through that, did playing other music technically make you better? Did it just get you more excited to want to play? What would you say?
I don't think I would be going into music education if it wasn't for learning the eclectic styles. Like it didn't necessarily, I mean, it makes me a better player because it makes me more well-rounded, but I didn't learn new like techniques or like how to become a stronger player necessarily. It just taught me to really enjoy what I'm doing and to see other people enjoy it. And that's kind of what made me realize like, hey, I want to go into teaching so I can watch more kids develop this love of music and want to continue with it like for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think there was a lot of skills that I've tried to pinpoint where I was learning them from. And there are skills that I did learn from ABC and Eclectic Styles, but a lot of them came from classical music. And I think I really did enjoy just coming to class and playing all these different types of music that we're not playing in class. And I think the growth that, quote unquote, that we see is not really our growth like technically, but our growth as people and musicians.
Yeah. So I would say, I guess like that would really fall into the growth and impact is, do kids like it? Like, are they having fun? Are we building a sense of community? Because a lot of it is just going to be community based, you know? And it's like we can have like a Kenny or Maggie who I would identify as really, really top tier players, improvisers in the same room as, you know, some other kids who just weren't good at it. And like, that's fine. Like I'm not going to name names of that, but you know, they're coming into the same classroom and they're not the same caliber, but at the same time, they're not dragging anyone down because they love to be there and they're going to get an adequate job done, which I think that's great. You know, it's like, I don't care about their quote unquote growth as a musician. I care about their growth as a person through music, I guess would be kind of the way I want to say that, to sum that, bookend that real nice.
Mm-hmm.
I think a big part of that too is building confidence. Like that was a big thing that I learned from Eclectic Styles. It was like, how can I be confident in my ability to improvise, to play, to just make music with other people? Because I don't think classical music has ever taught me confidence. It actually, does the opposite.
Yes.
It makes me feel very badly about myself.
I feel that.
But like when we were improvising or when we were doing like fiddle or rock or pop, just feeling the energy in the community around me is like, okay, these people want me to succeed. They want to make music. They're not in it to be the best. They're in it to have fun and to be part of something great. And that is a real big confidence boost. And confidence is like the most important part of being a musician. Like you can't be successful without confidence.
Yeah.
And to add on to that, like being with like improvising and all that, you are working by yourself. You are doing the work to put that music out. That's why it's a solo. In the orchestra, I mean, whether you're second chair or last chair, you are part of this giant group, and it's really easy to just hide, and it's really easy to just blend with the group. But kind of what ABC does and what I see in other eclectic groups is everyone kind of is put on blast. Like everyone has to do their part and do it confidently. They don't have to do it well, they have to do it confidently. And I think the thing that helps with that confidence is just having that community, and no one is like against you. No one's like targeting you. No one's like saying you're bad or whatever, no matter what you play. And I think that's a big difference. Like, especially like when I was in school, I noticed that the difference between class and the difference between ABC, in ABC, no one would bully each other. No one was like above anyone else. We were all this big family. So it's definitely that confidence that I think that develops a lot from the people around you, which makes that community so important.
Yeah, and like whenever people join, like when they first join, it's like we have kids crying. Like they're in tears. They don't want to solo. They're shaking. They're passing out. Like nobody wants to solo. And then like you'll see them 7 years later, and they're just shredding on their instrument. Like they're just doing a fantastic job. They sound amazing. They're confident. And like I think part of that is like getting to know the community, because when you first join, you don't know who you're around. You're like, these kids are older than me. They're bigger than me. They're gonna bully me and hate me. And just being accepted by your peers is so big. And ABC does a really good job of that. It's always, the upperclassmen have always been just so supportive of the people who are new to it. And I wish we saw more of that in other communities.
Well, that's where I think like, if you go to a fiddle, like an actual fiddle jam, like that doesn't, like the best guy there is going to welcome the worst person in and go like, yeah, dude, let's learn. Like, let's build you up from here. Let's have a good time. And that's like, again, it's going to go back to that community aspect. Like, let's have fun. Let's just play, man. Let's not worry about it. What are the right notes? I don't care. Let's just have fun. Let's have fun. Let's hoot and holler and clap when someone does something that's a little bit cooler than what they did before, Kids that come through ABC, we have the highest rate in our music program and kind of in the area of kids who go into music education or at the academic level. But we also have a lot of kids who are excited to go. So that student that soloed at the Michigan Music Conference that I had her play C#, she doesn't do music professionally at all. She's in med school. But she has made sure to make music a huge part of her life and the capacity that she can and that she wants to. So she can just do whatever she wants to do. Like there's no gig she can't play, and she gets hired all the time for a bunch of different, I hire her to come teach the kids. Because she's good and she's enthusiastic and she understands that. Like, let's just have fun. It's fine. Like, you don't have to be a professional musician. Don't go into it. It's if you're not ready to sacrifice, don't do it. Just have fun. Do it. Sound bad. Make a dad rock cover band.
Could you walk us through the steps it took to lead and grow your band? There's a lot of musicians out there who are trying to start up bands. 2 of them might be at this table, and we're looking for They're looking for advice on how to become successful.
Oh, man. So number one, when I was doing it and really got big in the band that I was touring in, it was a different game because social media was not. Like Instagram literally didn't exist. I made connections through message boards or friends of friends, or some other band was coming to town and needed a place to stay. So I'm like, yeah, dude, like that's like, come stay in my house. Like I'll cook you some bad vegan hot dogs and rice and we'll just hang out for a little bit. But like that was the game. And I think a lot of that also like plays into like the concept of authenticity. And especially now with social media, you want to get your concept of what your brand is out there, be consistent with posting and interacting, but also let people know that there's a genuine sense of authenticity in what you're doing. I'm still in bands. I'm still in like heavy metal bands, and I can make them blow up. It's not a big deal. It's a lot of work, but it's not hard. It's just a lot of interacting on social media, which I don't love to do to begin with. Create your brand. Interact with people authentically, because a lot of people like right now with the amount of social media, especially the rise of, AI posts or, AI generating AI based off AI generating AI, people I think really crave that sense of authenticity. So if you can build that up and go, this is who we are, this is what we do, and not like, oh, we're a band and we post meme stuff, like we're a funny band, and it's like, well, no one's gonna take you seriously then. Who are you? And if you are silly, that's awesome, that's great. Like if you go back to the other bands I've been in, we have a lot of silly stuff because we're kind of goofy dudes. We're going to be a little bit silly, but also like we're going to go back to this is what we do. This is how we do it. We do take it very seriously. Build that sense of connection and authenticity, both online and offline. Go talk to the people at shows. Find someone who stayed and watched for 5 minutes. And if they're there at the end of your set and they're hanging around, they want to talk to you. They want to hang out. They want to interact, and it's your job. And I think this is a lot of what we miss overall in like the classical world, is understanding like people are going to go to see music because they don't want to be in their life. You know, maybe it's just boring and don't have anything going on, or it's bad, or it's whatever. They want to be invited into your world. And what is your world? What is your brand? And when you see them IRL, that's in real life for the internet, go talk to them. You know, hey, thanks for watching. Start that conversation. They're looking for an invitation. And I think a lot of people are just genuinely looking for an invitation to be invited in, and especially in a creative endeavor or a creative field like ours, they're like, man, that was really cool. I've never seen, you know, strings play that piece before. Or what was the inspiration for that? Like, people want that. They just don't know how to do it. They're kind of bad at it. You know, and I have no sense of shame. So I'll just go talk to people. But I think, you know, a lot of that is just, that's authentically who I am. Because, you know, I'm good at making people laugh, and then suddenly I'm very serious again, and everyone's like, huh, oh.
Like just now.
Now. So that's what I would do, is I would build up your brand on social media, make it easy to access multiple areas of social media. If you want to get into the metrics, post 3 to 4 times a day, at least on TikTok, once or twice a week. On Instagram, whenever you post, make sure it's right after when normal people eat meals. So breakfast and dinner are the big ones. Lunch is not so great. So for us, if we're posting around 7:30 to about 9 a.m. with our first post, second post can be around lunch, not as busy of a time. And then later, about 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. is where you see the metrics boom, especially on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you see a lot of a drop off. So that's when you want to post around lunch. Sunday, about 1:30 to 2:30 our time, because people are getting out of church or just getting out of brunch, stuff like that. Instagram, you want to make sure you're posting in reel and story format. Make a story about every reel that you post, but make sure you're hiding details in that story about the reel so people want to go see the reel, and just make sure that it's authentic to the brand. And the other thing that I would say is, it doesn't have to be good content. Just absolutely, you can put out absolute dog water and people are like, yeah, cool. You know, what you want to do is you want to get interactions with your social media. So if you just put out, you know, you just throw a bunch of stuff out there and just see what sticks, and then do that again. Make a reel that's almost identical to what you just did, and just do it again and post it 2 days later. Because on your feed, it's sequential. In their For You page, it won't be. And that's like, a lot of people are like, oh, I feel really bad about it. And it's like, when I'm hyping up an album cycle, I'm posting every 4 hours, and it's literally the same post with different hashtags. And there's never been anyone in my entire life that goes, oh, I saw you post 2 of the same reel in a row. I can't believe it. I'm not going to follow your band. You know, like, that's not real. It won't hit their algorithm like that. That's not how the algorithm works. So if you can get interaction in, and then just like, you gotta be good. Like, your music has to be cool. Like, you can't suck. You can suck. Like, computers can fix a lot of things now, but make sure you know your brand. Stay true to it. Interact with people. If someone comments, you better comment. Someone talks to you at a show, you better have a conversation. Ask them what their favorite color is. I don't really care. It doesn't matter. They want to be drawn in. Like, people want to be a part of that world. If they're watching you, they want to be a part of that world. Invite them. Bring them in.
Yeah, that connection is super important. We've been working on that with our band specifically. We've been working more on the interactions with people on social media, and after gigs, we've been talking to, I don't want to call them fans, but hopefully new fans.
I mean, they're fans.
If they're watching you, that's what they are.
Yeah,
exactly.
Call them fans. They liked what you did, you know?
So that connection has been huge for growing our audience and having like people who actually want to watch us, not just like our friends who are trying to support.
Yeah.
I think another important piece of that too is interactions before and after the show are important, but you also have to have interactions during the show. And that's something that I've been wanting to work on a lot, because yeah, people are coming to watch the music, but they also they have this like subconscious thing in their mind that's like, I want to talk to him now. I got somewhere to be right now.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of that finding a good balance of having a show and also talking to your audience in a way. So
Crowd interaction.
Absolutely.
Doesn't have to be big, doesn't have to be long. Hey, how y'all doing tonight?
right.
I heard Grand Rapids has good furniture? Who's got a good chair? Something dumb like that, but like it works.
There's a river here.
Someone's like, hey, this river ain't so grand, is it? But then like people laugh about it, and it's like, especially if you can develop through your live performance, stage, social media, that parasocial relationship with people where they think they're your friend. Mm-hmm. Like I have people from my other band who would come see us all the time and talk to me, and it's like, I jokingly say this too, is like, I just create a character of myself who plays and likes to talk to people. But like, that's what I do to kind of like insulate my regular self. Like, yeah, I know it doesn't seem like it, but I'm pretty like introverted. I don't really like big crowds. I don't like talking to people. I don't like staying out late. I do enjoy it, but I also don't. I like sitting at home with my dogs and my wife and hanging out and playing video games or whatever. So like make a character of yourself and then like invite people into that. That's my answer to that.
Okay, so another question I have is, what did you like and dislike about touring?
It was really cool, and it's, like I still do it to a lesser extent now. It's really awesome going to another town and just seeing a bunch of people who are excited about music in general and are there because they don't know you. And it's, when I was younger and I was touring, it's like you just go to a city and just say out loud, hey, we don't have a place to stay tonight. Can we crash on someone's couch? And you'll find 3 people will go, yeah, dude, like, let's do that. And like, in fact, like tonight, let's go to the beach. Like, that's really fun to do. And then let's make some food. And then like, I live with my parents, so we got to be quiet. And I'm like, God bless up. That's like, the worst part is some 21-year-old guy going, yo, I got an apartment. And I'm like, that's going to smell like cat pee. I'm out. my brother, there's a thing called soap. There's a thing called dish detergent. We can throw away the pizza boxes. That's okay. And I wish like this was hyperbole, but like I've gone to some places where it's like, no, I'm good. I'm straight. I'm good. Having that sense of community of like complete and utter strangers who are just so willing to go out of their way to help you because that they just like music. Like that was awesome. Everyone talks about like seeing the country. Like you see the highway. That's cool, I guess. I don't know. Do you like rest stations? Like you see a lot of those. Building those connections. Like I'm still friends with a lot of people that, I may have not seen them since I was 22, but we keep in contact online. A lot of them are like, oh, I'm married with kids now. Can I come to Grand Rapids and stay with you? And I'm like, yeah, let's do that. Like, let's go to the beach, dude. Like you got a little 4-year-old, let's go. Like, I'll drive y'all, and it's like, that is such a cool thing when you realize like everyone wants to connect. Like everyone wants to be involved in something or with someone or be a part of something. The worst part is it's expensive and you sleep really bad. And you don't eat a lot and you don't get to shower nearly as much as you should, especially for young 20-somethings. One of my favorite tours was the worst I've ever done. It was us and another band, and we got this great idea to take my Ford 1996 Econoline van that had the TV in it and actual like cellular blinds in it. And we built bunk beds in there and a bench, so 9 of us could fit in there. And we had a trailer. And we did 3.5 weeks out in the Southwest in the desert.
Wow.
It was great. It was awesome. Got stopped by Border Patrol twice. Had everything searched. That was great. We look kind of sketchy because we're a bunch of like skinny, smelly, greasy.
You're trying to cram
kids.
9 people into a van.
With 9 people in a van with bunk beds in it. That was fun.
So what advice do you have for people looking to get into gigging in a non-classical environment?
Don't do anything for exposure because exposure doesn't buy food. If you're doing it for exposure and they feed you, that's fine.
We've had a couple of those.
Sometimes
we'll eat like $100 worth of food. So
I mean, if you're getting
Sometimes
paid
more.
in food, like you eat until you can't eat anymore,
that's
and you
right.
take 2 more bites.
I lick the plate after.
Take leftovers home.
Oh yeah, doggy bag. Big pockets, Ziploc bags. If you're getting paid in food, you're bringing Ziploc bags and a coat because you are taking home a lot of food. You have to value your brand at the value you want it to be. So if you're willing to sell yourself for free, people will pay exactly that price. And you will never be able to charge more.
It's a very difficult spot to be in because it's like me and Maggie love just playing.
Yep.
So we will take a free gig any day, but it's like obviously like it's going to get to a point where it's like, well, then that's our brand. We're a free band.
Yep.
Brand
100%.
free band. But we're trying to build a brand, and yeah, I mean we can't do that for free.
Well, we've talked about doing like pricing packages too, and like adjusting how we do our pricing. Because, there's a couple gigs that we'll do for free. Like Barnstock, 100% every year we will go back.
They love us 3 years in a row now. So,
but that's a completely different kind of gig too. Like weddings, never free.
No. As soon as the word wedding is there, $200 just gets added.
Oh yeah,
minimum.
Weddings, we jack our prices.
Oh,
up,
double it.
Triple it.
Yeah, now we need contracts for those too, because it's like the money is high enough to where it's like, oh, I don't want to pay that. I'm just gonna stop emailing you, and it's like, okay, well, we've been on this 6-month tangent now. It's like going back and forth and then getting nothing out of you. So yeah, I love taking exposure gigs, but I know that as we keep going, we're gonna have to be like, sorry, can't do it. This is what we're selling ourselves at. This is what you're gonna buy us at. If not, have a good day.
Well, and one thing that we've been getting out of our free gigs recently has been like, we needed to get videos and photos for the social media. Now we have them. So unless we're like collecting tips or something or busking, like I don't see us taking too many more free gigs.
I say busking's great because that's like a voluntary, I'm just going to go on my own terms. If you're getting told you have to play somewhere at a certain time or getting told what to play, no.
Yeah.
And it's the advice that I heard that's really crazy is, what is your price? Come up with that number in your head, double that, and then add $100 to it. And that's the number you throw out. And that's probably going to be a little bit high, but then someone's going to go, "Ooh, I don't know if I can do that." And then go, "Well, we might be able to work it down with this." And I like the packaging thing. So it's like Blue Water Kings is kind of like a wedding performance group in the area. Brenna is a really good model of that. Very well-known group in the area where they have, for your wedding, you can have, and all of them, like this 5 or 6 or whatever is in there, they break off and go, so here's our basic package for live band at your wedding, like live dance band. And this is our whole set list of songs we can play, and they can do all of them live. It's really cool. And then they go, do you want a string quartet? Because we can also do that. So we're going to, trio or whatever, we're going to add that to the price. And we're going to add this to the price. And we can do all of these different things. They're a full service music group. Or, if you just want a live band for cocktail hour or something like that, they can, and they have the gear and the people who can go, well, we can break down from a string trio and then go into a jazz group, a jazz combo, and then we can go into a live band situation, or we can have one of us stick around and DJ. That's a really great way for people to go, I can't afford all of that, but I want this and I want this. And, it's never, are your prices flexible? Yeah, $50 more and I'll consider being flexible. It's like, I joke like that, but I'm also like,
that's the reality.
I've always been so adamant of like, yeah, let's just negate all of my years of skill and experience. Yeah, I'll do it cheaper for you just because you asked. No. Go to Taco Bell and go, I'll pay you 75 cents instead of $1. How does that go? They laugh you out of there.
Right.
But it's, if you're going to commodify yourself, you need to understand the worth of your commodity and make sure you stick to it.
Yeah. And as we're kind of wrapping up here, there's 2 more questions I'd like to ask you. The first one being, what's one piece of advice you want students to take away from this episode or in general? And the second is, are there any books or resources you would recommend to students?
Oh, yeah. The thing that I would really beg every student who's listening or anyone who's listening right now is, what does success mean to you? And that hopefully should be different than other people. I mean, we can say like in general, like, I want to be a teacher. Cool. What do you want to teach? What kind of work-life balance do you want? What does that success mean to you? Like, whatever success is for you, you have to go at it because no one else is going to do it and no one else is going to help you until you create those resources. Go for it, 100%. You have to. And then resources. I'm always going to swing on the like way more radical side of absolutely everything education. I think Juliet Hess she's a sociologist. She's got a lot of really great stuff about music in the classroom and incorporation of things. I used Maud Hickey. She has a lot of stuff about informal learning and just being okay as a teacher with kids being amateurs at things. Like, because we want to hyper professionalize young kids. Just let them have fun. Like, who cares, man? Let them be bad and have fun with their friends. Like, that's fine with me. I don't care. Like, you like being here. This is your people. This is your community. Cool. Stay here. Let's have fun. Let's play. Just be bad. Sit good, though. Sit with good posture. That's all I really care about. There's a lot of ASTA resources coming out from the Eclectic Styles Committee that I think we have our own tab in the filter now, but I don't know if that's actually happened yet. I think some online journals are like our radical Radical Teacher, I think is what it's called. That one's mostly pretty cool. It's a lot more philosophical. But I have a degree in philosophy too. So I like to read a lot of like philosophical journals and sociology and stuff like that on like what is that, what is like an education that is built towards actually like educating people versus reinforcing norms look like.
That's pretty much going to wrap up our guest episode for today. I'd like to thank you, Ryan, for coming on the show and for sharing your insights and experiences. It's been really wonderful to have you on. I also want to thank my co-hosts, Kenny and Maggie, for their questions and contributions. It's been great having you guys on here as well. If you or someone you know would like to be featured on Tutti Talks, please feel free to DM us on Instagram at Tutti Talks Podcast or email us at tuttitalkspodcast@gmail.com. Be sure to follow us on all socials and subscribe to the YouTube channel to stay updated on all things music, from guest highlights and upcoming episodes to behind-the-scenes content and performance clips. We're committed to connecting with as many musicians as possible, and your support helps us reach a wider community. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a fellow musician, colleague, or friend, whether it's someone in your ensemble, studio, or anyone who values these conversations. Every share helps grow our community. Thank you for listening to this episode of Tutti Talks. Keep the music playing, keep the conversation going, and we will see you in the next one.